Hi warrior kids. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Rita. Today, I'll be sharing a wonderful story of Paul the Apostle. Grab your snacks, and let's learn together. Once upon a time in the ancient city of Tarsus, there lived a young boy named Saul. He was a bright and enthusiastic child, with a deep passion for his Jewish faith and the teachings of the Torah. Saul's parents were devout Jews and took great care in raising him to be a righteous and learned individual. As Saul grew older, he became more knowledgeable in the ways of the Jewish faith and became a skilled scholar of the Scriptures. He was determined to follow in the footsteps of his ancestors and become a respected Pharisee. In pursuit of this goal, Saul traveled to Jerusalem, the heart of Jewish culture and religious learning. In Jerusalem, Saul sought out the prominent Pharisee teacher, Gamaliel, who became his mentor. Under Gamaliel's guidance, Saul continued to excel in his studies and developed a fervent zeal for upholding Jewish traditions and laws. As Saul's reputation as a passionate defender of Judaism grew, he became known for his strong opposition to a new movement that was emerging among some Jews in Jerusalem. This movement centered around the teachings of Jesus of Nazareth, who was believed by some to be the long-awaited Messiah. Saul was convinced that the followers of Jesus were threatening the purity of the Jewish faith, and he felt it was his duty to stop them. He began persecuting the early Christian believers, dragging them from their homes and imprisoning them. Saul was present at the stoning of Stephen, one of the first Christian martyrs, and he approved of his execution. One day, while on a journey to Damascus, something extraordinary happened that would change Saul's life forever. As he was nearing the city, a very bright light from the heavens suddenly shone around him, and he fell to the ground. In this moment of overwhelming brightness, he heard a voice calling out to him, "Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me?" Saul trembled with fear and asked, "Who are you, Lord?" The voice replied, "I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting. It is hard for you to kick against the goads." Saul was struck with astonishment and terror. He realized that the very movement he had been opposing was indeed the work of God. For 3 days, Saul remained blind, neither eating nor drinking, pondering the divine encounter he had experienced. During this time, a Christian disciple named Ananias received a vision from the Lord, instructing him to go to Saul and restore his sight. Ananias, aware of Saul's reputation as a persecutor, was hesitant at first, but faithfully obeyed the Lord's command. He found Saul, prayed over him, and miraculously, Saul's sight was restored. With this miraculous intervention, Saul's heart and mind underwent a profound transformation. He was baptized and embraced the Christian faith he had once fought so vehemently against. From that day forward, Saul became known as Paul, and he dedicated the rest of his life to spreading the teachings of Jesus Christ to both Jews and Gentiles. He traveled extensively, established Christian communities, and wrote epistles to guide and encourage the early believers. Paul's journey was filled with challenges and hardships, but his unwavering faith and determination led him to become one of the most influential figures in the early Christian church. He played a crucial role in shaping Christian theology and doctrine, leaving a lasting legacy that continues to impact Christianity to this day. And so, the story of Saul, the passionate persecutor turned Apostle Paul, teaches us the profound power of transformative experiences and the importance of being open to the truth, even when it challenges our deeply held beliefs. It is a story of redemption, forgiveness, and traveled grace of God that can touch even the most stubborn of hearts. With his newfound faith, the Apostle Paul's life took on a whole new purpose. He traveled extensively, embarking on several missionary journeys to share the teachings of Jesus Christ with diverse communities throughout the Roman Empire. His passion and dedication to spreading the gospel were unparalleled, and he endured numerous trials and hardships for the sake of his mission. During his journeys, Paul faced opposition from various groups, including some Jewish leaders who still perceived him as a threat due to his previous role as a persecutor of Christians. Despite the dangers, he fearlessly proclaimed the message of God's love, grace, and redemption through Jesus Christ. One of Paul's most famous and influential letters is his letter to the Romans. In it, he delves deep into Christian theology, addressing key concepts like faith, grace, and righteousness. Paul emphasized that salvation comes through faith in Jesus Christ, and it is available to all people, both Jews and Gentiles. Throughout his travels, Paul established many Christian communities, providing them with guidance through his letters. Some of his letters include 1 to Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, and more. These epistles not only addressed specific issues within these communities, but also provided timeless teachings that continue to be cherished by Christians worldwide. One significant event in Paul's life was the Council of Jerusalem. Around 49 AD, the council was convened to address the question of whether Gentile converts to Christianity should be required to follow Jewish laws and customs. Paul argued passionately for the inclusion of Gentile believers without imposing Jewish practices upon them, and his position was accepted, a decision that had a profound impact on the growth and expansion of Christianity. Paul's missionary journeys weren't without challenges. He faced persecution, imprisonment, beatings, and shipwrecks. However, he remained steadfast in his faith, viewing his trials as opportunities to demonstrate God's strength in his weakness. One remarkable incident occurred when Paul and Silas were imprisoned in Philippi. Despite their chains and dire situation, they sang hymns and praised God, and a miraculous earthquake shook the prison, opening the doors and setting them free. This event led to the conversion of the jailer and his family. Paul's journey continued, and his teachings stirred both admiration and controversy wherever he went. Some saw him as a true apostle and an eloquent speaker, while others viewed him as a troublemaker and heretic. Nevertheless, he persisted, motivated by his unwavering conviction that the gospel needed to be proclaimed to all corners of the world. In his later years, Paul was arrested in Jerusalem and spent several years in prison. During this time, he wrote more letters, including his pastoral letters to his trusted disciples Timothy and Titus, providing them with guidance on leadership and church governance. Finally, Paul's journey led him to Rome, where he was imprisoned once again. Despite his circumstances, he continued to preach and share the gospel with those around him, even influencing some of the Roman guards. Paul's life of service, perseverance, and dedication to Christ inspired many, leaving an indelible mark on the early Christian church. Around 67 AD, during the reign of Emperor Nero, Paul was sentenced to death and martyred for his faith. Tradition holds that he was beheaded in Rome, remaining faithful to Christ until the very end. The story of Saul, who became the great apostle Paul, is one of transformation, sacrifice, and profound love for God and humanity. His life serves as an enduring example of the power of redemption, the far-reaching impact of a changed heart, and the boundless reach of God's grace and mercy. The letters he penned have become essential scriptures, guiding and shaping Christian thought and belief throughout history. The legacy of Paul lives on, as an inspiration to countless believers to live out their faith with passion and courage. Thank you for listening. Please like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the Warrior Kids YouTube channel.